and welcome to the Indian Booktuber channel. I am Manpreet and I was able to read 55 plus books in 2021, and in today's video I am going to be talking about all the books that I read, and I will give you a little bit of information about all of these books. This is going to be a bit different than the usual end of year video I make with all the books that I read, because in that I just name the books, but this time I'm also talking a little bit about all of these books. So let's get started. And if you're new on this channel, please make sure you subscribe, follow me on my social media at Indian Booktuber on Instagram. And now let's get started with this video. I have got the list over here, and I use goodreads.com to document my reading throughout the year. I take up a reading challenge, yearly reading challenge of Goodreads every year, and I'm not able to actually finish the challenge most of the years, but it still helps me document a lot. And I also love the fact how it can be automatically synced with your Kindle device, so all your highlights, all your reading updates, notes, etc. just come automatically to your Goodreads account. Anyway, coming back to the books that I read, I actually began 2021 by reading a thriller which was Into the Water by Paula Hawkins. Now, I love The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins, but this was a so-so read. It was enjoyable but wasn't something impeccable or something awesome. Then, as you guys know, I actually am trying to read all the Agatha Christie books that have been published so far, and I was able to read 3 books in 2021. The goal was to read at least 12, but okay. I actually read The Mystery of Blue Train, Black Coffee, and Peril at the End House. I really liked 2 books except for Black Coffee, which was one I did not like. And because I was very adventurous this year and I had big plans this year, I also started another author project just like Agatha Christie, where I'll be reading all the books of the author and reviewing them on the channel. And the author that I picked up was Stephen King. I actually was able to read 2 books by Stephen King this year. Carrie, which was actually a very short book, so it was easy. And then I read Salem's Lot. Now, I have reviewed all of these books on the channel except for Salem's Lot. I will write down my views someday and review it on the channel, but my views about it are quite different from what my husband thinks about Salem's Lot. He loved it. I'm like okay with it. Anyhow, do remember, most of the books that I am going to be talking about in this video I actually reviewed on the channel, so I will link all of those reviews down below in the description. It will take a lot of time to do that, so please make sure you appreciate that effort of mine and check out the description for any books you want to know more about. Next, talking about some popular Indian authors that I read last year, or this year actually, in 2021. I am still left with a few days in 2021, but I wanted to make this video a little bit early. I read One Arranged Murder by Chetan Bhagat. This was a book that was disappointing. And another thriller by one of my favorite authors that was disappointing was Club You to Death by Anuja Chauhan. Apart from that, I read A Touch of Eternity by Durjoy Datta, which I really liked, and I also was able to finish the entire Shiva trilogy by Amish. I had planned to do a full review of Shiva trilogy, but that would have gotten too many views, and Manpreet always does the opposite of what she should do. But I am really very happy about finishing like one of the best Indian books out there, or you can say the trilogies out there. And after that, I also read Sindbad by Kevin Missel. By the time I am done with 2021, I would have also read another Kevin Missel book, Karan, and I will review that on the channel as well, so you can check it out once it's up. Now, talking about some classics, this year I was able to read about 5 classics. Okay, I read Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I read The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by Frank L. Baum, and then I read The Lost World by Arthur Conan Doyle. I read The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, and finally I listened to The Haunting of the Hill House by Shirley Jackson. I liked all 5 of these books, but Haunting of the Hill House was the most underwhelming, the one that I did not like. I would just say it out. Apart from that, when we talk of thrillers, I was able to listen to Claw, a Canadian thriller by Katie Berry. This was something that I really liked. Then I read Ringa Ringa Roses by Neil De Silva. This is a collection of short stories and Indian horror, and I do not read it that much, but I'm happy that I was able to read at least one Neil De Silva book this year. After that, I have just recently read Agniban by S. Venkatesh and the Viman transcripts by Vedhan. I have reviewed both of the books on the channel, so you can check it out. If you're looking for like weekend thrillers by Indian authors, you can pick up these books. Now, let's talk of some sponsored reads. Agniban and Viman transcripts were also sponsored reads for me, and I'm really, really grateful to all the authors that put their trust in me for reviewing their books, despite knowing the fact that they have to pay me, and even then I can end up not liking their book. So I'm really grateful to all the authors as well as you guys who watch my videos and put their trust in me. So thank you so much if you have been watching all of my videos and if you're taking my recommendations. It means the world to me. Coming back to the sponsored reads, I read The Granddaughter Project by Shaheen Chisti, one of the most experimental books. I do not read that kind of literary work that much, but I really enjoyed this book. And because they are sponsored reads, you will find the reviews of all of these books almost on the channel, so do check them out. After that, I read Raptor Rising by Anjali Joshi, and there was one more thriller that I read, which was Silent Fires by Pujita Prasad, which are like two very promising thrillers by Indian female authors that you must check out. Then The 16th Night by Ashwin P. Chandran was like, you can say, the number one book that I read, which was sort of like Mahabharat retelling, and now I'm reading Karan by Kevin Mitchell, which would be a Mahabharat retelling. So both of these books, I am very comfortable to say that I have liked very much. I am like done with 150 pages of Karan, so I can say that. Then I read a Hindi book, Switch On Switch Off Acting Method by Virendra Rathore, which absolutely helped me so much in improving my dialogue delivery and the way I make my videos. So I feel incredibly grateful to have picked up a book which was a sponsored read for me that helped me in my life so much as Indian Booktuber. Apart from that, I read Farther by Chaitanya Desai. This certainly happens to be one of my favorite books of the year because this was so surprising, a contemporary novel that I liked way beyond than what I had expected. Then Let Love Take Over by Thompson Robert. I have read Alumni of the Year by Thompson Robert in 2019, and I loved that book. And this again is a very short contemporary fiction which could be good for working professionals who are just looking for a very small contemporary fiction to get into. And then I have Murderum. Yeah, this was another thriller that I read, which was a medical thriller. And talking about medical fiction, I also read Rage Against the Dying of the Light by Dr. Shishir Srivastava. It's part fiction, part sort of like biography, autobiography, memoir, you can say. Apart from that, I read All Seasons Alike by Kavya Sharma, which again, like the Granddaughter Project was more like a literary fiction and something very deep and nice. All Seasons Alike is more like creative writing, so I really like that as well. I also read It Ends With a Dream by Medha Nagur and Brand New Start by Menak Dhar, which was a book on personal branding. Menak Dhar is one author who is really good at writing fiction and non-fiction. Just like I would say Ashwin Sanghi, his 13-step series is non-fiction, which is incredibly amazing, and then he is a very well-known author for his fiction as well. So that is pretty cool. I really feel proud of Indian authors who can do so much, especially when both Ashwin Sanghi and Menak Dhar are very busy professionals. Ashwin Sanghi is a businessman. Menak Dhar is also very successful in his field. So, it's incredible how they are able to accomplish so much. Then there were two books that I could not like that much, which was sponsored reads for me. Trafficked Innocence by Sandesh Raj. It's a book on human trafficking. I ended up giving it, I think, 3 stars. It was good. The subject was good, and the kind of depth the author had put into the subject of human trafficking was good, but there were a lot of problems that I found in the book. And then there was another book which I would not like to mention here because I read the whole book and it was just like I wouldn't have given it even 1 star or 2 stars. So I ended up not, featuring the book on the channel because I want to have more positive reviews on the channel. Anyway, now coming to the Indian non-fiction that I read, I was able to read Your Best Days Today by Anupam Kher, which was again an underwhelming read for me. Would not recommend it. And then I was able to read Unfinished by Priyanka Chopra, which is an autobiography that I really liked. And I also read Mint Your Money by Pranjul Kamra. Somehow this book became very popular in this year as a personal finance book published by Westland and a book by an influencer. But I ended up finding it a very fluffy book that was just a few pages, which I felt like was a waste of my time and waste of pages. So I did not like it. And I ended up reading How I Quit Google to Sell Samosas by Munaf Kapadia, which is one book that I really like because of how it's part memoir. There's a lot of information about business as well, and it's kind of funny as well, inspiring as well. So I like having at least one of this kind of books in my yearly wrap-ups. So I'm really happy that I was able to find this book and read it. Then I read a lot of foreign non-fiction books. Okay, I read Attitude Is Everything by Jeff Keller, which is a book on positivity, and that I read like as my first book of the year along with Into the Water by Paul Hawkins. Then The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. I actually ended up reading two books on personal finance. One I really liked, Psychology of Money, and one I did not like, Mint Your Money. Anyway, then I read The Third Door by Alex Banayan. This actually is something that was gifted to me by Penguin India, and it really was a very good read for me, and something inspiring, and that's something that I wouldn't have picked up otherwise. So I am always really grateful for these kind of opportunities because they let me explore different kind of books and introduce them to you guys on the channel. So yeah, The Third Door was a really good read for me as well. Then I read a few books that really helped me as a marketer. So if you don't know, I'm a marketer by profession. Apart from this booktube, I have a full-time job and I also have my freelancing project. So I basically am into digital marketing. And I tried to read a few books this year that would help me get better at my craft as a marketer. And one of the books that was so inspiring, that just showed me how reading books can change your professional life and the way you approach your professional stuff, is Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. I would not talk more about it, but if you're a marketer, just read it, okay? Then I read Influence, The Psychology of Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. This was again a very, very revealing read for me as a marketer. I also read Who Moved My Cheese by Dr. Spencer Johnson and .com Secrets by Russell Brunson. Now, .com Secrets was a little bit underwhelming. I had expected way more from this book. And Who Moved My Cheese is sort of like a classic that is recommended to a lot of business owners. So I liked it, but would not say much about it. I would say just read it. It's just like one tick in your to-do list. Who Moved My Cheese? It's not bad, but all right, let's move on. Now, I have this ongoing project with the Reading List channel where I review and discuss a few books that are about Indian economy, Indian politics, foreign policy, and subjects like that. The books that I was able to read as part of that project were I Do What I Do by Raghuram Rajan, The Last Mughal by William Dalrymple, The Turn of the Tortoise by T.N. Ninan, Pride, Prejudice, and Punditry by Shashi Tharoor, 10 Judgments That Changed India by Zia Modi. And by the time I finished this year, I should have been able to finish one more book. So these are all the books that I read in 2021. Do remember all the books that I mentioned for the Reading List channel, the English reviews. Basically, Hindi reviews of those books are available on the Reading List channel, which I'll link down below so you can check it out. And yes, all in all, I was able to read 32 Indian books this year and 23 foreign authors this year, which I feel like is a pretty good score. But you tell me, what do you feel about my selection of books? And as I really value your feedback and I really want to read the kind of books you want me to read and review on the channel and feature on the channel, just let me know if there is some change you want in the next year's list and you want me to tackle a particular set of books, or you are like, Manpreet, you know what, you have been reading these kind of books but we don't really like hearing about them, so just change it. You are all welcome to comment down below with all your suggestions. I really want to show you what you want to see, so your comments are really valuable to me. And yes, that's it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed watching it. If you're watching it until now, just comment down below with hashtag 2022. Okay, and yes, this is Manvi signing off. I'll be back with another video very soon.